there, welcome back to another review. So today we're going to be talking about the original hack and slash video game that is 2010's Darksiders from Vigil Games, released for the PS3 and Xbox 360, as well as remastered edition that came out in 2016 called the War Mastered Edition, which is the version you can see here in the background. Now, as we all know, God of War was a huge franchise, and whilst no one is knocking Kratos' efforts here, God of War 3 actually came out the same year as this game. Darksiders got a bit sort of underplayed. I think a lot of people mainly just went to sort of, when you think of games like this, sort of 3D hack and slash video games, a lot of people just went to God of War and sort of left Darksiders behind. A lot of people just forgot about Darksiders, or they'd, you know, prefer God of War over Darksiders. But I'm here to tell you Darksiders is a real good hack and slash video game worth checking out. And as I say, it came out the same year as this game, I think, God of War 3. But what Darksiders did well was that it provided a nice action adventure hack and slash video game. And rather than being rooted in Greek mythology, the story here and its inspiration is from the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and you play as War, who after being summoned and framed sets out on your journey to find out who is responsible. We even get Mark Hamill in this game doing one of the voices, which is worth checking out, because even if you didn't know that going in, when you play this game, you know, if you've seen any of the classic Batman animated TV series, or you've played sort of the Batman Arkham games, you'll know it's Mark Hamill. Like, he's channeling his inner Joker here. He's definitely channeling his Joker in this game. Like him as the Watcher, it's just he's just pure Joker tone. Many said the game is like a combination of God of War mixed with sort of Devil May Cry, and that for the most part is true, but the game is a real solid effort. And to be honest, if you've got a game that is like a hybrid of God of War and Devil May Cry, that's got to be worth checking out, right? If you're a fan of either of them two games, what are you waiting for? Go and check it out. That's Darksiders, and believe me, you will not be disappointed with this one. Like with any third-person action-adventure game, the needs for a healthy balance of exploration, great combat mechanics, story, and interesting world that these events take place in, discovering and acquiring new powers and weapons, and of course the puzzles, to which Darksiders ticks all these boxes and then some. It handles really well and it plays great. The combo system and combat in the game is really simple. It looks awesome and can be as simple and as complicated as you want it to be. A few taps of square, a pause, and then another few taps of square will unleash a great combo with to great effect. And it does look, the combo system is not overly complicated, as I mentioned, but it's just sometimes you can just bash square and have a good time. But for whatever reason, don't ask me why, it never gets boring when you progress through Darksiders. The combo and sort of the special abilities and weapons and, you know, all the other things you get in the game, it never actually gets boring. You never actually get tired of beating people up or, you know, slicing people to death. It never actually gets tired. I say another great thing is, like when you see the circle prompt, if you're playing on PlayStation, you get this prompt to deliver like a brutal finisher, which is extremely satisfying. Like, honestly, the combat in this game is, as I say, it's fluid, it's fast, it's smooth, and it really holds up really well. You start with your sword, the Chaos Eater, then as you progress, you get scythes, throwing blades, you get magic abilities, you get wrath powers, which works as sort of magic attacks. You even have a meter which turns your war into this like chaos form, which is like a hulking great demon to add more spice to the combat mechanics, which doesn't last that long, but it's a nice little add-on to an already solid combo system. So you morph into this, and this when you can really mess your enemies up, though, then it's only for a limited time. What is done incredibly well is that as the game progresses, things keep getting added to your arsenal. Of course, you can power up, increase your health, purchase new combos, obtain new weapons and wrath powers as you progress through the game. Above all else, what I felt Vigil Games to be for the most part is when you play this game, if you have played this game, they keep things very simple. It's a very simple game, but it's a very extremely fun game. Like, this is not a complicated game by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not so simple that it's sort of holding your hand throughout, or there's not enough variety in the game. It's a real good, solid, fun, simple game, and that's why I love games like this, where you don't need to necessarily think too much about what you're doing. You don't have to keep checking what the combo, you know, buttons are, what the special buttons are, and God knows what else. It flows really well. Like I mentioned, you could go through the whole game quite simply bashing square if you so chose. They mix up swordplay with shooting and projectile weapons, and as the game goes on you start to feel more badass and pretty much unstoppable, especially when you get your horse, which is like with nice touch and made traversing like them large areas much easier. There are areas in game that function as sort of fast travel points. There is fast travel in the game, which keeps things very simple when you have to sort of like traverse over like to different places in the areas. They're known as serpent holes in the game, the fast travel points, if my memory works. Yeah, they're known as serpent holes. They sort of function as these fast travel points. So it's easier to get to different sections. The game, which does come dead handy later in the game when you have to like find the 7 pieces of this sword. So if you are playing this for the first time, you will be thankful that them fast travel stations are there, believe me. The boss battles, whilst grand and epic in nature, I found for the most part really easy, many of which I beat on the first go and just within a couple of minutes, but they do try and give each one a bit of a twist, a gimmick to keep it fresh. You have to fight giant worms, spiders, you name it, like spiders, you know, do you see the Devil May Cry thing they got going on there? Of course there's a giant spider in the game. Wouldn't be a game like this without a giant spider, right? Now, talking of the puzzles, they are there, but it's nothing too hard. But man, oh man, the portal gun. This section seemed to go on for ages. If you have played this game, or you're about to play it for the first time, just be wary of the portal gun section, because this section, to me, as fun as it was, it seemed to go on and on and on for a hell of a long time. Like, this portal gun just seemed to just outstay its welcome. Okay, it just went on much longer than like needed. The puzzles needed a bit more thought than the other puzzles in the game. Basically, with this gun, you can use it to teleport, but it's not just okay you can shoot a portal here to teleport to here. No, you then learn you can actually shoot a portal through a portal, and thus begins some not so straight forward like sort of puzzle solving. It's great when you do solve it, but man oh man, it can be frustrating because you think, okay, a portal gun, I can just shoot it and then I'll end up over here. But no, you learn eventually that you can shoot a portal through a portal, and it just creates this whole different dynamic with the gameplay and the puzzle solving. It's really rewarding when you do it, but man oh man, did that section seem to go on for a hell of a long time. But as I say, when you do solve it, you do feel good. As I say, about the last third of the game, when you get the portal gun, it just felt like this section just never wanted to end. Okay, I love too when you get the Mask of Shadows in like Ethan, it makes War look pretty damn badass, as if he wasn't badass enough in the first place, right? But I've always enjoyed Darksiders. It's a franchise that unfortunately maybe has been sort of like, it hasn't been as huge and as successful as it should have been. I think this was largely due to THQ going bankrupt back in, I think it was 2012, didn't they go bankrupt, or there was some financial money problems around that time. I think they definitely hit sort of a brick wall sort of when it comes to financing and things like that. But it is a shame that Darksiders has been somewhat overlooked. Don't get me wrong, there are sequels to Darksiders which I will be checking out for you guys, but it's a shame that Darksiders is pretty much not, I won't say forgotten about, but like I mentioned that word there, overlooked. It seems to be overlooked by a number of gamers. I think that's mainly because it's overshadowed by a lot of the big hitters in the hack and slash genre. But it goes without saying, if you enjoy Devil May Cry and that whole gothic swordplay, fast, frantic action, complete with adventure, an interesting, fascinating world to explore with some super solid combat mechanics and level and stage design that's really great, then Darksiders is definitely a game you need to check out. It's a solid game that has a hell of a lot of weight to it as well. Like, this is a real substantial effort here from the developers, and you can tell there's a lot of effort and care that has been put into the game. Some of the bosses maybe you could argue could have been a bit tougher. They are all relatively simple. Nothing is going to take you ages to figure out sort of what the boss's weak point is or the patterns of the bosses. They're all really just like simple. But in all fairness, I never found myself getting frustrated with the game. I was just having a real blast with it. But go and check it out and hope you get through the portal gun sections a lot easier than I did, because they seem to go on for a hell of a long time. So thank you very much indeed for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you again soon.
Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.